I was kind of piggybacking off the question that was asked about the fall and the doctrine of the fall. Some things I think about being caught up in that are like the futility of creation, or its brokenness, or the curse in the beginning of childbirth and toilsome labor. So I'm just wondering, maybe evolution isn't inconsistent with Adam, but the idea of historical Adam, are those things still
so I'll point out,
with
so there's a couple
Adam?
things. So I do really encourage you strongly to read Jack Collins' stuff on this. Like I said, there's an article in Perspectives on the Christian Faith. It's a journal of the ASA, or the American Scientific Affiliation, where he gets into this. So even if Adam and Eve are not how we envision them, you can still envision scenarios that involve a fall. So maybe God is talking about Adam and Eve and symbolically referring to like a community of people that fall in this way. Or maybe Adam and Eve is like an example of several people throughout history that God's done this through in the past. Like there's many ways to think about this where there still actually is a historical fall, okay? But then part of what I've noticed is that gets people caught up on this is actually a misinterpretation of Scripture. Once again, you don't even have to go to ancient Near East to see this. I was talking on stage recently with a really wonderful young earth creationist scientist, and he was emphasizing how Genesis says that he made it and it was perfect. It was perfect. And if you look at evolution, it's not perfect, except for that's not what it says. It says it was good, not perfect. The only time it starts to talk about perfect is when we encounter Jesus. Perfect actually means complete. And in fact, if you look at the story, it's anything but complete. He keeps on saying it's good. That means it brings his pleasure to him, but it's not complete. He wants to add to it, which means it's not perfect. And it's just really interesting how that transposition has. And he's and I'm not trying to pick on him. He's a really wonderful person. I really came to respect him a lot. And I kind of said, it doesn't actually say that. It says good. And then he kind of stumbled for a moment. He's like, oh yeah. And I think we all do that. I do the same thing. But this is kind of like this natural human tendency we have to kind of summarize Scripture into our own understanding and then kind of substitute our understanding for what Scripture actually is. And then act as if that's the truth. It almost sounds like idolatry. I don't know. Didn't we read about that somewhere in Romans? I don't know. But, the fact of the matter is that it's God's word, it's not man's word. The fact that a lot of Christians think good means perfect doesn't make it so. And I'm not beholden to their interpretation. I submit to what God has said, and God did not say perfect. He said good. Moreover, when you read in Paul's statement, in Paul's 5, it also clarifies what death came to. It doesn't say to the world. What does it say? It says to mankind.
Right, but there's the Romans 8 passage on corruption.
And so
creation being corrupted.
So the question is, what does that mean? Does it necessarily mean what you think it does? So I do believe that the sin of man has impact on all of creation. And that, it's not hard to see this, actually. The sinfulness of humans does not lead to the flourishing of the world. This doesn't take, the eyes of faith to see. And you look around and you see it. Now, the question is, does it necessarily mean that, that lions were vegetarian at that time? And frankly, Augustine found that patently absurd and said, that's obviously not what it could be. Only an idiot would think that. That's literally what he writes. Now, maybe Augustine's wrong, and that's what the case is, but we have to kind of realize, if Christians throughout history, having nothing to do with science or evolution, have really thought that that's not the right interpretation, why do we think that right now our instinctual thing with that is the right one? And then, even then, with all that disagreement they had back then, when they're trying to really nail down what's the core of the Christian faith, this doesn't actually end up in the Apostles' Creed. What right do we have to add that to the core of the faith? Once again, that's just too innovative theologically for me. I'm too orthodox. I'm just too orthodox to do that.